going to take a natural stance, just by jumping and landing softly. And softly. There you go. Nice. And when you land, obviously your knees, your feet will want to align. If they don't align, well, that's an invitation to pay attention to that. And also, most people, when they jump, find that there's a difference. How it feels when you keep your hands this way versus jumping like that. Right. Interesting, isn't it? So, in a sense, it kind of changes your perception of weight. Maybe it's a subjective change, but it's still an important shift. And then what happens in addition to that, of course, is the alignment of the head. There is a simple way to align the head by simply grabbing yourself with the tips of the ears and gently tugging straight up towards the ceiling, bringing the real top of the head on top. Now, once you've done that, notice how suddenly it's easier to breathe. If there was any misalignment of the neck or head, it was actually impeding breath. If you realign the head and the neck, it also most likely realigns the thoracic, the rib cage, and so basically creates openness for breathing to be easier. Let's see how we can keep the eyes either fully closed or half closed, and just imagine going for a walk in the woods, somewhere where there are old trees, some of which perhaps have been growing in one and the same place for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Imagine coming to one of those trees and touching its bark, giving it a hug. I'm just imagining what it would be like to be the tree yourself. Imagine what it would be like to grow in the same place for many years, decades, hundreds of years, maybe even thousands. Growing branches up in the air, providing shelter to generations of birds and animals, and growing roots in the ground that give you support and nourishment. As you imagine growing your roots deeper, you visualize them growing through different layers of topsoil and dirt, going deeper. The rocks, underground waters, all the way down to magma in the middle of planet Earth. Imagine your roots growing even deeper to the very center of our planet, where they can tap into the energy center of the Earth and allow this benevolent energy to flow up the roots into your trunk, empowering and energizing each and every cell of your body. As well as letting go of any old and stagnant energies you no longer need, so that they can be carried into the center of planet Earth, or they can be recycled and made useful again. And when you feel like you receive all the energy necessary for this particular moment in your life from Mother Earth, and then you begin retracting your roots from the center of planet Earth, going back to all the layers of magma, underground waters, rocks, and topsoil, retracting them all the way back into your feet as you regain the much-shaped form. Still remembering what it's like to be grounded and totally connected to the element Earth energy. And whenever you feel ready, this experience for you. Just a few minutes of meditation. Simple standing meditation obviously can be done for longer. As I mentioned, we always try to emphasize the idea of practicing for a shorter amount of time, but more frequently rather than for a long time in one sitting. Obviously, it can be done throughout the day, sometimes several times a day, and you can mix and match. You can combine it, for example, with yawning exercise and lucid daydreaming practice. So then instead of visualization that we just went through, you can simply allow yourself to stand in meditation and experience the benefits of lucid daydreaming. Makes sense, right? It's a simple approach to meditation that also means it doesn't require any trappings, such as meditation space, cushions, bells and whistles. It can be done pretty much anywhere. Without jumping and landing too many times, you will not even attract any attention. So as long as you are not bothering anyone, you can even do it in public. I've done it even in such odd places as standing in a bank in a queue or in a casino, because I had a friend from Saskatchewan who was a medicine man, and he loved to gamble. I didn't particularly like to gamble, but I was accompanying him to some of the trips to the casino, especially when he would win a bunch of money. And it was kind of fun because I would actually practice Qigong in the casino. I don't think a lot of people do that in that kind of environment. So, let's see how we can do a little bit of movement practice now. Since you're already standing more or less in a natural stance, let's see how we can engage the movements of the hips, making circular motions as if you're spinning a hula hoop. The idea is to translate the movement of the hips into the movement of the head. So the head, instead of being animated by contracting the neck muscles while the torso is standing still. In this case, the head is being animated by the movements of the torso, so the neck muscles are relaxing, allowing the movement to translate from torso to the head rather than tensing up. That's one of the key principles of Harmonious Culture of Movement. We move through relaxation rather than through tension. I'm sure naturally your breathing will also want to synchronize with the movements of your body. And just allow it to happen. After you've done a dozen or so revolutions in one direction, feel free to rotate the hips in the opposite direction. And of course, the head would follow suit. You're welcome to experiment with gradually increasing the range of motion of your head and neck. So they can make larger and larger circles. So it's a pretty simple move, right? Let's do another simple move. We're going to roll one shoulder following the other forward. We're not doing it just standing still and wiggling the shoulders. We're also moving the hips. So the hip moves the shoulder. As I shift the weight to the left, for example, my left hip hikes up, and then it translates into motion of the shoulder up and then forward and down. As I shift the weight to the right side, same thing happens there. can amplify the circles a little bit more, making them a little bit wider. Explore the range of motion of your shoulders in this way. And whenever you're ready, reverse the rotation. So you're rolling shoulders following one following the other in the opposite direction. You can amplify the rotation of the shoulders, making larger circles. It's a great exercise not only for the shoulders but also for the spine, as you can probably tell. You can feel how there's this snake-like movement of the spine, right? Great. Let's do more with it. Let's see how you can make circular movements with the shoulders together. And as you can see it in profile, I'm making wave-like motion with my spine, sending waves from pelvis up into the shoulders. Could go even further into the cervical spine and the head, but I don't want to give myself a whiplash, and I don't recommend doing that. So instead of sending this energy to the neck, you can reroute it into the shoulders. I'm sure I don't have to tell you how to breathe. Your body will naturally want to synchronize the physical actions with the physiology, which means physiology and physical actions will actually be supporting each other, which is a great thing. See how you can reverse the rotation so you're rolling both shoulders backwards now. All right. Let's see how we can swing both arms back and forth using the hips to animate the arms. And amplify this movement so the arms start making circles in the shoulder disc. Making these movements with total relaxation of the shoulder muscles is a little bit of a challenge for most people, but once you learn how to translate the movement of the torso to the movement of the arms, you will feel how it's easy. Obviously, shoulder muscles get tired after a dozen revolutions, so it means you're not translating the movement of the torso into your arms. Something needs more attention. And the reverse. Let's go forward. Almost like a smooth butterfly style, except the palms are not backwards. Because in butterfly, obviously, to push the water. But if your palms are backwards, for example, in this arm, notice how it's going to get stuck in the shoulder. If the palm is forward, it doesn't get stuck. Makes sense, right? So what do you do with the palms when you do the circular movements? You turn them forward. As you can hear, my breathing obviously is working in sync with my arm movements. If it's too fast for you, you can also slow down the arm movement so you don't hyperventilate. Let's see how we can bring both hands above your head. And now the right arm is going to rotate forward, and the left one is going to rotate backwards. So. So almost. From here, the right goes forward and the left goes back. And then turn to the right and continue this motion. And turn to the left and continue. And to the right. Hands stay on their respective sides and to the left. And to the right. And to the left. You might stay the course. There you go. Yeah. Stay on the right hand. What is it doing on the left side? Stay to the right side. Yeah, there you go. Just turn to the right and continue. And continue. Yes. You continue. Yeah, there you go. Almost. Let's switch. So the left arm goes forward and the right arm goes backwards. So from here, from hands above the head, left arm goes forward and the right arm goes backwards. Imagine that there are two canvases that are hanging in your mid-sagittal plane. It's the plane that divides the body in half, the right and left sides. So there's one canvas here that I can paint a semicircle on with one arm. And there's another canvas behind me that I also paint another semicircle on. And then I switched, so I paint semicircle with one hand on this canvas, the other hand on the other canvas. Alright, so the left arm is going from up here. Left arm goes forward and the right goes back. And then turn your torso to the left and to the right. And to the left and to the right. And to the left and to the right. Simple, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Right, well, it's simple. It may not be easy, but it's really simple.
Okay.
Let me see.
Like this. And then like this.
Not quite. Okay, so to make this a little bit easier for you guys, there is a little baby step move that actually helps you learn how to do this. If you just bring your elbows out to the sides and hands up. Now, let's see how you can make both hands go to the right and down and to the left and up and right, down, left, up, right, down, left, up. See if you can add a little bit more of movement of your torso, making the circles larger and larger and larger. And so now one of your arms is making circles forward and the other one is making circles backwards. Yes, it's like a wax on, wax off kind of move, only on steroids. So you're not just doing it like this, you're doing it like this. Okay, so once again, both hands are above your head, and the left one is going forward, and the right is going back. And then turn to the left, and hands stay on their respective sides. Very good. And continue. Right, good, back. And continue the circle. Yes, very good. And continue. And continue. Yes, nice. Right goes back, left goes forward. There you go, you're doing it. Yeah. So from, see how your left hand crossed over to your right. If you don't let your left hand cross over the center line, so yeah, so from here, the right hand goes forward, left goes back. And turn the whole body to the right, and continue the circle. Yes. And turn to the left, and continue, and turn to the right. And continue. There you go. Nice.
So that's going too far.
Yes. So notice how your right arm is making circles backwards. So forward, Right arm is going forward, and left arm is going backwards. There you go. Just like that. Cool. Trust me, there are plenty of people who took weeks, if not months, to figure out this simple book. One guy I taught private sessions every week. It took almost 6 months. And he was a well-trained martial artist. I don't know exactly why it's difficult for some people and easy for others. I think it's about communication between the right and left hemispheres of the brain, corpus callosum. Some people have more neurons going on there, some less. Basically, we want to have more communication going on, because the more communication we have between the right and left hemispheres, the more functional we are as a person with a full brain. There you go, yeah.
So if they're coming together, something's
Yes,
crossing.
you're doing great.
So if I'm over here, with both hands,
Yes,
this hand
so the right arm
over
is
there.
going forward, left one is going backwards. Perfect.
So I notice you really stretch out.
There you go.
I
See, I did it again.
the way I can do it too is basically just gravity. As soon as, one forward, one back, gravity just drops it.
Yes,
And then it's just one back out.
that's exactly what we do with Harmonious Culture of Movement. We use gravity and momentum as much as humanly possible. Great. It's going to be a homework.
Another one.
Yes.
Can I have a little more?
Let's see how we can play a little bit more with flexibility. Now, you know how in yoga, maybe you have seen, maybe you've done some yoga, they call this the eagle pose. They also do this with their legs. We're not going to do that just because it's silly. Instead, we're going to make circular movements with the whole body, like so. Basically, we explore a range of motion of our shoulders, but in this case, the shoulders are kind of stuck. And since we can't move the arms in relation to the torso, well, fine, we'll move the torso instead. I'm sure I don't have to remind you about synergizing or synchronizing movements of the body with breathing. Sure, it just naturally happens in itself, right? Whenever you're ready, feel free to alternate the position of your arms. You've got one on top, and reverse the rotation of your torso. Did you forget which one was on top?
I was putting an elbow in the wrong direction, trying to go the other. I'm like, it wasn't working.
Gee. We'll have our pose, I suppose.
Okay. This is not the only yoga pose that we bastardized. There's another one called the cow pose. I don't know if any cows have ever done this, but this is what we're doing. We're grasping the hands behind the back if you can. If you can't, then you can use a belt or towel or whatever else you may find suitable.
You do it on one side more or less, and the other side I got to,
So don't torture yourself, just find the edge of the comfort zone. That's what we're doing. We're exploring the edge of the comfort zone, not torturing ourselves. But once you've found the edge, then see how you can wiggle your hips once again as though you're spinning a hula hoop in whichever direction you want. on top, and reverse the rotation on your hips. Right. So as you can see, we're going from head to toes. So let's move on a little bit closer to the toes. Next juncture would be our hips. And we're going to make circular movements with the left leg from outside inwards, as if you're swinging the leg over a bicycle seat, like so. One of the things that I always like to point out is that a lot of people who do these moves, for example, in martial arts or other disciplines, rely on the flexibility of only one hip joint, that hip joint that they're whose leg they're lifting. But you can actually double your flexibility all of a sudden by actually tilting the torso away from the rising leg, so that both of your hip joints are involved. Now, you may notice how your flexibility suddenly feels a lot greater because you're no longer stretching and compromising just one joint. Also, tilting the torso away from the rising leg gives you stability, because the leg is actually a pretty heavy thing. If the center of mass is somewhere around here, it means this is 50% of the mass, and that is 50% of the mass, which means this is 25 and this is 25%. Now, if you're lifting your leg up, you need to counterbalance it somehow. Since the torso is twice as heavy as the leg, you only need to tilt it as half as much. So, for example, if you're lifting the leg up here, you only need to tilt the torso only half the angle. So essentially, it's like a median line of the angle between your thighs. The torso stays in alignment with. Yeah, just like that. Excellent. This, by the way, includes not only the lumbar and thoracic spine, it also includes the cervical spine and the head. So the head is okay to tilt in the same direction where the torso is tilting.
You know, time equals to the right. When you get nervous, eh?
Yeah, whenever you're ready, switch to the opposite leg. Alright. And now we're going to reverse. So if we were making movements from outside inwards, now we're going to switch and make movements from inside outwards, like so. Right. How about the other leg? Remember, we're exploring the full range of motion of our hips, other joints. It basically means that we want to cover as much territory as we can. So if your leg comes up here, but you're only making movements down here, you're not really exploring the full range of motion. Let's see how we can move on to the knees. So we'll bring your feet closer together, both hands and kneecaps, and just add the circular movements of your knees in whichever direction you like first. continue. Let's bring the ball of the right foot on the ground, keeping the heel up in the air, and make circular movements with the ankle of the right foot in whichever direction you like. First, using not just the ankle but the whole leg to animate the foot. It's also a nice exercise for bringing back to life the joint of the big toe. Some people complain about either gout or various other issues with the big toe joints and ball foot. So this is an easy way to bring attention to, because obviously you're pressing against the floor with it, and you can also reverse the rotation. So if you want clockwise, for example, now let's go counterclockwise. Right. Switch to the opposite foot. Forget about exploring the full range of motion of the ankle. So the ankle is making full circles. Sometimes you may experience tension in your lower leg muscles, so the ankle doesn't want to make a nice circle, but maybe try to cut corners or create corners. Originally, there is no corners. There are no corners in circles, but you want to make sure that they're as circular as they can be. When you're ready to switch direction, go ahead and reverse.
You put majority of the weight on the other leg?
Yes, it is.